Hello friend, this is Ryan Hicks of TalkToProfit.com, and for this Reseller Friday I want to talk to you about how I'm going to reveal the dark side of reselling. Now, understand, this is me, so it's going to be a positive spin on these things, but I need to talk about some things that just don't get mentioned very often, and I think they lead to many resellers dropping out, because the trend right now on social media is, oh, resellers are dropping out, oh, the sky's falling, oh, it's going to be all over soon. There is a negative trend that people are whining and complaining about things. But one of the things is, if you're a new reseller, you may not understand this. This has been going on for as long as I've been doing it, which has been decades now. Every time eBay had a change back in the old days, or Amazon auctions or Yahoo auctions, or any kind of changes came up, the sky was falling. People would whine and complain. They would talk about how they're leaving, they're going to another site. It happened over and over again. I remember back when a site called Bonanza, which later became Bonanza, came around, and people were talking about, I'm leaving eBay because I'm going to Bonanza. And of course they would get no sales there because there wasn't enough buyers. There was an overflow of sellers, and it just didn't work very well. And that's nothing against that site, but it's just the trend seems to be consistently resellers like to find something to whine about, like to find something to complain about. They like to get in doom and gloom. Some of this is because it's kind of a solitary business if you don't have employees. And so they're kind of just there to themselves, and they have any kind of customer service issue or this problem or that problem, and they just meditate on it and get negative about it. But I want to talk to you about things like ethical dilemmas. I saw one reseller, he had purchased some items from a garage sale, and he got a good deal on them. And I don't remember what the exact price was now, but it's something like he paid $100 for it, and it was worth $1,500. And people were lambasting him for, well, you should have went back and gave them some more money. You're taking advantage of them. Well, this is something you got to settle in your own heart. To me, I look at that. If the person asks a fair price for it and you pay the price, what other obligations do you have to pay them more money? Because you put in the value by listing the item, by talking it up, by advertising it properly, and you were able to sell it for more than they were able to because they chose the wrong venue. They chose their garage sale. Some of this, I think, is the Judas spirit that comes out of people where they're jealous. So they get mad and they want to condemn. Because Judas, remember, when Jesus had a precious ointment worth about a year's worth of wages poured on his feet, and Judas was mad about it, that could have been sold and given to the poor. Whenever you hear somebody doing that, well, you could have done this with your money. You could have done this with that item. You should have done. Guarantee that's a Judas spirit. Now, there could be cases where somebody's obviously abusing things or wasting money, obviously. But where an issue like that, so say that person was asking $100 or whatever for the item, and it's worth $1,500, and you talk them down from the $100. Well, what about 10? That's different. To me, that's an obvious ethical lapse because you are taking advantage of that person. They asked a certain price, and at that garage sale, that might have been the best price they could get for it. But you could take it. That's what arbitrage is all about. Finding a undervalued item in one marketplace and selling it on a different marketplace where you can get a higher value for it. I never want to talk people down and manipulate people or get them lower when I don't have to. Now, there'll be cases where you will, in your reselling experience, you might talk a price down because you're not 100% sure on the item. And you later find out that it was worth considerable amounts and you would have made a huge amount of profit even at the price they were asking. That's different. You didn't do anything on purpose. This should be basic stuff. This is stuff that children should be able to understand. But I'm amazed to see resellers arguing and fighting over it and telling people, well, you know, if you made a profit on that, you need to go back to that garage sale and give them more money. No, you had an agreed upon price unless you took advantage of it. Now, if you took advantage and you saw that price and you tried to talk them down and get a little bit more off of it so you can make even more money, then yes, maybe you should make that right. But as I mentioned, I think a lot of this is the Judas spirit in people where they just want to criticize and critique, and really they're just jealous. They're just simply jealous. And that's pathetic. We're all adults in reselling. Most of us are. I guess there's some children that resell too. But here's the simple rule. Just do the right thing. You know, one of the things you got to consider too in that scenario I've been giving is, what if the person knows the item's worth $1,500 and they just want to get rid of it and they want to sell it for $100? Why presume they're so dumb and so ignorant of value of the item that you're taking advantage of them? It's very insulting. I have sold stuff. Literally today, I sold a paper folder that originally sells for about $4,000, and I'd sold pieces off of it. And the rest of the pieces, it's just going to be a lot of work getting them all apart. And the actual paper folder is a huge item. I need it out of the way. I sold it to somebody for $20. He's looking at it like he got the greatest deal in the world because he can take pieces off of it, resell them, and make potentially hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars. He didn't take advantage of me. I wanted rid of the item. I was happy to sell it for $20. As a matter of fact, if he had said, you know what, I really don't think I want it, I would have given it to him if he didn't want to pay anything for it, because I wanted it out of the way. So you have to consider that as well. Don't just think people are so stupid, they don't know how to price things. Maybe they just want rid of the item. Maybe they got the value out of it they wanted, and now they just want to get rid of it. Now, another issue I want to get into is competition. This is something that, if you watch my videos, you understand about the deeper things of God, about the law of attraction, walking with God, and competition should never be your concern. Now, I use the word competition just to describe other people in the same marketplace, other people selling the same types of items. I'm not saying there's real competition out there, because if you're walking with God, you're doing the right things, for your customers, you're following the platform's rules, the marketplace's rules, you're going to far exceed everyone else in what they're doing. I'll give you an example of this. You go to eBay right now, search for some popular item, then do this filtering on the search results. Search by people who offer free returns. Search by people who offer free returns up to 60 days. Watch as the original number of people having an item for sale dwindles to a small percentage when you get down to people who are offering free returns. Why is that? Because many people are not reselling to provide the best value for their customers. They don't care about it. They're just trying to make money. They don't care if you have a problem. They don't care if the item you get is damaged. They don't care about you in the least. And that shows in the return policy they have. And the pathetic thing is that on eBay, for example, it doesn't matter if you say no returns accepted. All the customer has to do is say this does not work, or this is not as described, and you have to pay for the return for free anyway. So they get to return it for free and you pay for it regardless. So it makes no sense. But yet, that's your competition. Most people are doing things poorly. They're not providing the best experience to their customers. All you got to do is do things uprightly, treat people the way you want to be treated, and you will excel and exceed the competition by leaps and bounds. It's not even a real competition anymore. If it was a race, they're still on the starting line trying to get going, and you're already about to cross the finish line. So I would never be worried about competition. You can observe competition, especially in the regards to good people who are doing the right things, and observe what they do. If you see something they're doing that is providing a better experience, you can also implement that into your business and become even better. But viewing competition as pressure and, oh, there's so much competition, oh, this market's so saturated, is just nonsense, my friend. Yes, there are price strains that come from an influx of inventory, an influx of resellers, but here's the thing. I've seen it for decades on end where resellers come in, they sell a few things here and there, they don't make the profit they think they're going to make, and they disappear. So you're worried about all this competition. Most of it is bad in the first place. They don't do a good job. They don't ship quickly. They don't provide the best experience. They don't have good customer return policies. Everything they're doing is not in their favor, and you don't have to worry about them. You're at a different level. But something I just mentioned I want to touch on is going to lead to the next point, and it's this. One of the worst things in reselling is that so many people think it's a get-rich-quick scheme. I'm not talking about people on the outside. I'm talking about people that come into it thinking they're going to get rich. They don't realize the amount of work it's going to take. They don't realize that they're going to have to learn, and they just want something simple and easy to just have money flowing into their bank account. And I'm here to tell you that it's going to take hard, smart work. I wrote a whole book. It's not about reselling, but it applies to reselling perfectly, called Work Smarter and Harder. I would encourage you to get that because this is something very important that people have lost today. The work ethic you're going to need to be a successful reseller is very different from what most average resellers do. And that's why they don't get the good results. That's why they have mediocre results at best. Many resellers are doing tremendously poorly. You can excel and achieve great things, whether it be 6 figures, which is kind of an entry level, or you can do 7 figures. You can do 8 figures even. You can do more than that. It's all up to you and the amount of work you're going to do and the amount of intelligent work you'll do, bringing on the right people, training them the right way to expand and grow your business. But you must understand, you can't expect I'm just going to work an hour a day and make $100,000 a year. It's not going to happen. It just doesn't happen. And I'm not telling you that to discourage you. I'm not telling you that to limit you. I'm telling you that so you can have a realistic expectation of what is going on, especially when you're brand new. As a new reseller, you can't do almost anything in an hour a day and be successful in a reselling business. You can't even source because you don't know what to source for. Everything's learning. You got to grow and figure out what items to buy. What is this and what is that? What is the price on this? Oh, this is a great item. But then you find out it might be a great item. It might have sold originally for $200, but it only resells for about $10. That's not worth buying. There's so much you got to learn. You can't do it in a simple hour a day. Now you can in an hour a day grow your business and start to build up, but don't delude yourself into thinking you're going to be at 7 figures working an hour a day. You're going to have to put in some effort. You're going to have to put in some intelligent work, and that's fine. Don't listen to resellers telling you how they just work 1 hour a day and it's so simple. Listen, it's easy to resell. Everything about it is easy. There's nothing difficult about it, but it is going to take time. It's not confusing. It's not some mystery of the cosmos. You don't need to go to college and get a bunch of degrees. It's easy to do, but you're going to have to put in the effort. And for many people, that makes it not easy because they're lazy. And if that's you, then you might need to find a new business to get into. But I want to encourage you though. Maybe you're not lazy. You just think you're lazy. Maybe you just don't have the information you need, and so it makes you feel lazy. It's easy for people to feel lazy and to not want to do something when they don't feel like they're very good at it. That's why I would encourage you to keep growing, keep expanding, keep learning even more. Because as you do that, you'll start to become an expert. And as you become an expert, it'll start to become way easier for you. I understand when you get started, it can be very difficult at first because there's so much to learn, but none of it is hard. It is pretty easy to learn all these things. It's just a matter of doing them. So don't talk yourself out of it. Don't tell yourself how lazy you are because you just aren't good at it yet. Keep at it. I've talked about this before, but I knew a gentleman who was reselling, doing retail arbitrage to Amazon. He would go into Walmarts and Targets and stuff and buy clearance items generally. But he had some brain issues from a hard life before he repented and believed on Jesus. And he couldn't remember stuff very well. Did he give up? Did he say, well, I can't remember. Should I buy this item? I think I bought it before, but I don't remember if I did. I don't know if it's valuable. He didn't do any of that. He just got literally a notepad and would write down items he found that were valuable. And he made notes of everything. And he would go through and scan an entire aisle in a Walmart or a Target to find out which items were valuable. And he made notes of every one of them. Work with what you have. And that man clears 7 figures a year now. Don't tell me you can't do it. Don't tell me I don't have a good memory. Don't tell me any of these excuses. You can make it work if you really want to. I'm not saying maybe for you it won't be a little more difficult. That's all right. Work with what you have. The capacity you have, grow that capacity. And as you do, you'll become better and better, and you'll become more and more successful. And I want to leave you with this. You will hear, because I'm hearing it right now, People talking about resellers quitting. People talking about it's the end. People talking about this is going to stomp out reselling. This has been going on for decades. People have been talking about, oh, it's going to end. Oh, this is going to happen. Oh, AI is going to take over and do it all. My friend, don't listen to the naysayers. Don't listen to the voices of doom and gloom. Don't listen to people who are telling you how you can't do it, telling you how it's so difficult. Most of that's just people trying to pat themselves on the back by making it sound like what they're doing is super difficult. Listen, you get to a high level, it can be very difficult. But for the average person, they're nowhere near the vicinity of difficult. They may make it difficult on themselves, but it has nothing to do with the actual reselling business. It's because of their choices, their refusal to learn, their refusal to grow, their refusal to expand and scale up their business that makes it more difficult for them. You can become a great success as a reseller. There's nothing negative in reselling to keep you from being the greatest success you could possibly be. And literally the sky's the limit. You want to make 6 figures a year in your first year of reselling? You can do that. You want to make 7 figures a year after a few years of reselling? You can do that. It's going to take effort. You're going to have to put a lot of work in. And it's going to be hard work. And it's going to be work that has to be done intelligently. But you can do it, my friend. Don't let somebody tell you can't do it. Don't let somebody tell you how it's so hard. There's so much competition. You know, the sourcing is so much harder. The market's saturated. Don't let anyone tell you that. As many resellers are coming on and starting to sell, there's way more than that leaving. And there's more buyers coming on. Each and every year, there's more and more buyers. It's up to you to become the greatest success you could possibly be. And you make that choice by what you do, the actions you take each and every day, and whether or not you're going to put in the hard, intelligent work to become that great success as a reseller as you can be. And I believe in you, my friend. And if you need help, go to my website, click on the coaching. I'm happy to help you. I want to be a blessing for you, and I want you to become that great success that you have within you. I pray this is a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.